Lesson on Hallelujah by Leonard, Cohen, Jeff Buckley, Rufus, Wainwright have done sort of reasonably renowned versions of this, as have many others. Okay, it's a well covered song, this one. And it's one that if you're playing or trying to play along with a record sort of down here in C, then you might find that very quickly you run into one of those dreaded F chords. That might not be a problem for you, but if it is, what I'm going to do in this video is show you two ways or two positions that you can play this song in. Okay, so I'll show you down here in the open position, and warning, it will contain an F. I'll show you another way of playing this with a capo at the 5th fret. That'll allow you to play in the same key, so you can still play in the key of C. You can still play along with Leonard Cohen or Rufus Wainwright. I think they're both in C, their versions. So you can still play along with them, still play in C, and not have to play an F chord, okay, if you chuck one of those on. But this does come with its own pitfalls as well, which we'll talk through when we get there. I'll also show you, down in this open position, I'll show you a little bit of picking. Which you can explore if you want, and a way to kind of do a little bass drum. To kind of spice things up a little bit and just give it a bit more feel and groove, and maybe get you a little bit closer to the version you're after. So let's get into it. Okay, what we'll do, we'll tackle the open position first, and then we'll go on to the capo. I'll put timestamps in the description so you can skip to whatever you fancy. Alright, let's go for it. Right, so down in the open position then, you're going to need a handful of chords. You're going to need C, you're going to need A minor, you're going to need F, you're going to need G, and you're going to need E7. Could be E. E7's a little bit nicer for what we're going to use it for. Okay, definitely not E minor though. Okay, it's definitely an E or an E7. Right, so you're starting on C, and you go C to A minor, which, if you've done that before, I'm sure you know, it's a really nice change. Those two chords sound great together. From C, try to do this without taking your whole hand off, and try and just get that third finger to tuck underneath. Okay? Because they've actually got two fingers in common between those two chords. Rhythm wise, I'm going to get you to play a consistent rhythm throughout. Now if you listen to Leonard's version or the Rufus Wainwright version, I think pretty much all the versions, they all tend to fall in a 6/8 time, which gives us two kind of main pulses in each bar and three possible kind of subdivisions on each beat. Okay, now you might be starting to go a little bit cross-eyed, so let's break that down. 6/8 usually sounds like this: 1 2 3 2 2 3 1 2 3 2 2 3. Okay, so two main pulses: 1 2 1 2. And essentially what kind of sounds like a triplet on each beat: 1 2 3 2 2 3. What I'm going to get you to do is play the 1 and the 3 in each instance. Okay, so if we're playing on this C chord, if we're playing everything in 6/8, we'd be 1 2 3 2 2 3 1 2 3 2 2 3. I'm going to get you to play just the 1 and the 3. So 1 2 3 2 2 3 1 2 3 2 2 3. Okay, which actually kind of translates to pretty much swing time as well. Okay, if you start getting into playing triplet swing, okay, or 8th notes with a bit of swing to them, they've got that kind of feel. Okay, right, so we're going to go one step further, and we're going to strum the whole chord on the 1, and we're just going to try and hit the bottom of the chord on the 3. Okay, now it doesn't have to be 100% precise. You can hit just the A string if you like, but I would actually aim to maybe target 2 strings Like I said, if it's not 100% precise, if it comes out one string one time, two strings another, three strings another, it's not the end of the world. What we're trying to do is create this feel in our strumming that I would call like high-low. So you get the high, sort of full part of the chord, and then just the low part. Downstrokes as well. I think that gets a really nice feel for this song. So C, A minor, C, A minor. Okay, so you might just want to try those two chords on a loop first. You get a feel for that strum and that timing. So that is how I'm going to get you to strum through this whole thing. Okay, so going on from the intro then, which is C, A minor, C, A minor, when you hit the verse, you just do that again. C, A minor, C, A minor, and then F, G, C, G. So second line, F, G, C, G. And if you wanted to, if you play your F like this, or to be honest, any way you play your F, you shift it up 2 frets, you can play your G like that as well. Okay? Use whatever suits you. Okay? But I tend to do that when I'm playing in open position. Just keeps things all in that same area. So first half of the verse, C, A minor, F, G, C, G. Second half of the verse starts with the C, then F, G. Okay, so we get a split bar in there with the F and the G. This is where if you like doing that, you might find that a little easier. You can just move the same shape rather than changing shape. Okay, but practice that until you can do it, okay? C, F, G, A minor, F. Okay, the next line is going to be G, E7, A minor twice. Okay, and that finishes off the verse. When we go to the chorus, we've got 2 bars of F, 2 bars of A minor, 2 bars of F, C, G, C, G. Okay, and that last G on the end, that's kind of ready to turn things around, to go back either to the intro, you know, just as kind of a little bridge. Sit on the A minor, C and A minor a couple of times before doing your verse. Or in some versions, players just go straight from the end of the chorus into the next verse. Either way, it's the same thing. You're going off to C and A minor. Okay, so that's kind of really all the bits in there. Okay, it's one consistent strum, and then you just got to negotiate your way around those chords. For this open version, I've written out 2 extra parts you might like to try. One of them is trying to add in a bit more of the bass motion that you hear, especially at the start of the song with the C and the A minor. And then I've also given you a bit of picking as well, which really suits that kind of 12/8 style. So to do the bass drum, what you do is you take your C chord and you start off strumming just like we have done so far. Okay, so strum, bass, strum, and And then for the second kind of bottom end of the chord, bass part, we're going to move the note to this B note, okay, second fret on the A string. Strum, bass, strum, bass note, let's move down one. That acts as a little kind of transition note between the two chords, okay, so C, okay, get down to that A minor. So it's always strum, bass, strum, then the new bass note, then drop into that next chord, A minor, strum, bass, strum, then that new bass note, back to C, bass, strum, bass. Okay, so I practice that real slow. Do that fluidly, and if you can do that there, then maybe you'd like to explore trying that with some of the other chords and moving between those and keeping a bit more bass motion going. I'll leave that up to you though. If you want to try getting some picking in there to flesh this out a little, then if you take the C chord, you can pick down through that 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, then hit that bass note down there again. Sounds really nice, I think. I think this is a little bit more akin to the Rufus Wainwright version. So if you've got your C chord set up, that's picking down from the A string to the B string and then back to the G. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2. Okay, or 5 notes worth of your 6 possible notes in the bar. And then jump to that bass note. Same pattern on the A minor, pick from the A down to the B, and then back to the G, and hop back to that bass note. Okay, and if you like how that sounds, then you might want to try and take that through some of the other chords. Explore more of a picking version of this. You might like to even get your fingers involved and try finger picking some of that. But again, that's kind of extra stuff you can play around with if you want. Hopefully we've kind of covered all of the core bits there. There's a link in the description to go and see me kind of play down through all of that, and you can have a go at playing along with me. What I'll do now then is I'll go on to look at how you could play this with a capo if you're struggling with these open position chords. Let's see if we can play it in the same key but with a different bunch of chords. Right, Hallelujah with capo at the 5th fret. So strumming wise, this is going to be exactly the same as the other version I've just talked through. So it's that 6/8 feel, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, but playing just the 1 and the 3 in each group in there, okay? So if you take a G chord, which is going to be our first chord here with the capo, and a 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Okay, and then now we try and get that high-low feel onto it by strumming the whole chord on the first strum, and then just the bottom end of it on the second one. And you know, that bottom part, it can be 1 string, 2 strings, doesn't have to be completely accurate each time. It's just really that feel, okay, that high-low feel that I think kind of emulates what piano players or keyboard players might do with this kind of part. Okay, right, so capo at the 5th fret then, you're going to need a G, an E minor, a C, a D, and one more, which is going to be a B7. Now right right back at the start I said that playing with the capo has its own kind of set of pitfalls, and for me that's the B7 chord. Not because I can't play it, because I can play it. What makes it difficult to play is playing it here next to the capo. Personally, I hate playing B7 next to the capo because it really feels cramped and tight. We've either got to try and squeeze it all in next to that capo, or what I've started trying to do is actually kind of come over the capo, and I don't know if you can see that there, kind of get that my hands kind of coming over the capo, okay, coming over that to actually help the fingers get in place, which is a bit of a pain in the backside, and that might actually depend on what type of capo you've got. I know that some players have the handle part kind of at the bottom that might prohibit that. So it's going to be up to you to kind of negotiate how you're going to get into that B7. But one thing you could try, if you're really struggling with that, is try and drop the D string out of the chord. And if you just try and get these three fingers lined up, and let the first finger drag, mute that one out. Okay, that still sounds alright. That's with the note, that's without it. It's not a drastic difference, and as long as your strum is strong, you shouldn't find that note too prominent. Okay? The other notes should overpower it, and having just those three fingers in might make that a little bit more doable. So the B7 is your challenge on this one, okay, to try and get around that. Otherwise, it's really fairly straightforward, okay. We're going to be doing that same pattern all the way through. And working our way through the chords. So first pattern is G to E minor. Okay. So just loop those, get comfortable doing that with that strum pattern. Okay, and then worry about the rest of it. So if we jump in at the verse, it's G and E minor twice, and then you go to C, D, G, D. Okay, that's the second line of the verse. Third line, slightly more challenging because you're going to get two chords in the same bar. So third line starts with G, right? Those two, C and D, two chords in the same bar. 1, 2, G, C, D. Okay, you come out of that D off to E minor, C. Okay, so here's that whole line. 1, 2, G, C, D, E minor. Then you're back to one bar, one chord per bar. For the last line, D, B7, and 2 bars of E minor on the end. Okay, for me that's the most awkward part. Trying to get that B7 in with that capo in the way. Okay, so it's kind of up to you if you want to do the capo version or the version without the capo and tackle the F chord. Either way, you might have an awkward chord to battle with and just kind of practice the change in and out of until you're comfortable with it. Chorus then, you're going to start on C, 2 bars, then E minor, 2 bars, C for 2 bars, G, and that D leads you back to G to start all over. Okay, you can cut straight up to the verse, or you can go all the way back to the intro if you want, as long as you go back to a G chord and do a bit of G and E minor and start singing again at some point, you'll be alright. Okay, so really that's kind of everything you need to play Hallelujah with the capo at the 5th fret. Okay, biggest challenge being this fella, that B7 chord there. So take a bit of time with that. Try and just get comfortable with that feel. Cohen version is like really slow as well, so you don't need to rush this one. And you can really take your time and perfect those changes and that feel, and it will still be passable. Okay, but if your audience does start to nod off, then you might need to speed it up a few beats per minute. Okay, so take your time with that, have some fun, and I'll see you around for the next video.